Today, we are going to go over the X method. So when we factor, one of the methods we use is the X method. So it is called the X method because we get to draw a giant X. Remember, when factoring, we want our equation or expression to be in standard form. Our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c. So what we are doing on top, we are going to put a times c. We are always going to put a times c. Then here on the bottom, we are going to put our b value. So in our X method, we are trying to figure out what these two numbers are going to be. Those two numbers, when you multiply, they equal whatever number a times c is. And when you add, they equal whatever number b is. So let's look at an example. So if I had x squared plus 7x plus 12, when I draw my x, my a is 1, because that's a 1x. My c is 12. 1 times 12 gives me a positive 12, and then my b is going to be a positive 7. So we are looking for two numbers. When you multiply, they equal 12, and when you add, they equal 7. So one way we can do this is 12, and we're going to write down all the factors of 12. So 1 and 12, we have a 2 and 6, and we have a 3 and 4. So now we're looking at which one of these numbers equals 7 when you add them together. 1 plus 12 is 13. 2 plus 6 is 8. 3 plus 4 is 7. So our two unknown numbers are going to be a 3 and a 4. 3 times 4 gives me 12. Check. 3 plus 4 gives me 7. Check. So now let's go ahead and write this in our factored form. We're going to write x. Because that's a positive 3, we're going to write plus 3. And then we have x. And because that's a positive 4, we are going to do plus 4. So one thing that I want you to know is, let's say this is P and Q. Our formula is going to be x plus P times x plus Q. Now, what if when we do our X method, we have a negative P and a positive Q? Then when we factor, it's going to be X minus P, because P is negative, and X plus Q, because Q is positive. So scenario 1, both of our unknown numbers are positive. Let's do another example. X squared minus 4x plus 21. We are going to draw the x because we are using the X method. My a times c is 21. A is 1. 1 times 21 is a positive 21, and my b value is a negative 4. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to 21 or add to 14. So if I draw a factor, this factor t, 1 and 21 are factors, then we are going to have a 3 and 7. Now, this actually, I meant to write a negative 21 there. So because it is negative 21, that means one of these numbers has to be negative. So, but we could also have a 1 and a negative 21, and then a 3 and a negative 7. So these are all the possible combinations that will give me a negative 21. And I want to see which one equals a negative 4. And ultimately, we're going to see 3 minus 7 gives me a negative 4. So my two numbers are 3 and negative 7. My factor is going to be x plus 3, because that is a positive 3, and then x minus 7. And let's do one last example. This is going to be x squared minus 5x plus 6. We have a factor tree. A times c is 6. My b is a negative 5. And I am looking for two numbers that multiply to positive 6 or add to a negative 5. So 6 is going to be my tree. And I know when I add my numbers, they need to be negative. So 1 and 6, and then we have 2 and 3, but two positive numbers are never going to give us a negative number. So here we go. We're going to see which one of these gives me a negative 5. Our answer is going to be negative 2 plus a negative 3. And then our factor is x minus 2, and then x minus 3. So we went over 3 scenarios. Scenario 1, we have a positive b, and the c is positive. So everything is going to be positive. Scenario 2, we have a negative b and a negative c. That means when we draw our factor tree right here, one of these numbers has to be a negative, or both of these numbers could be a negative. Scenario 3, we have a negative and a positive. So that means both of our numbers have to be negative. So I want you to remember, when we multiply, a positive times a positive will always give you a positive number. A positive times a negative will always give you a negative number. And a negative times a negative will always give you a positive number. This row right here, or this column here, what we are looking at, this is our C value. And then if we're looking at B, a positive number and a positive number will always give you a positive. If we are adding, let's write that down, we are adding. And then a negative number added to a negative number will always give you a negative number. And then a negative and a positive could give you either a positive or a negative. This here is B, and that is, we do have a little plus sign because we are adding. So those are the examples for factoring when using our X method.